beat you out of the playoffs and basically embarrassed you last playoffs. Did you not expect a little more?
Well, dude, I mean,
a little jump.
Look, and we can get to this later when we get to like Marner and Tavares, because I got a lot to say about those two guys through the first 3 games. But look, honestly, man, like I don't know what the deal is here. Like the Wednesday game against Montreal and then the Thursday game against Ottawa, like the slow start blew my fucking mind. Like it wasn't looking good in either of those first 2 games through the first period, really. I just didn't like their game. I haven't liked their game in any of the games, really. Bit better last night. But anyway, like, I don't know, man. Yeah, I thought coming off of last season, it's like Overdrive touched on it this week or last week about like they've been saying all the right things and Marner, like the whipping boy, and he should be fired up to have a great season. And they just come out fucking like dead in the water right out of the gates, flat as fuck. What the fuck is this shit? Like, seriously.
Yeah, and not all of them. I mean, let's face it, Jack Campbell was sharp. If Jack Campbell's not sharp, they honestly could end that first period down 3-0. I mean, first 5 minutes, he stopped a few 2-on-1s, few point blank shots. He was on fire, man.
Montreal did end up scoring first.
They didn't end up scoring first, but the Leafs came back. They won 2-1. They got the win. Yeah. It's always ugly and sloppy and not great at the start of the season. That's just the way hockey is. Every team does that. Your timing's off, everything's off. Fair. But you should be fired up. Fans back in the building for the first time in 18 months. Playing against the Montreal Canadiens at home. Not only is Toronto-Montreal a great rivalry, this is the team that embarrassed you. This is the team that took the 3-1 series lead and made you live the entire summer as whipping boys here in Toronto. You should have come out from puck drop and just filled them. But like you say, just dead.
More question marks. It's just like, honestly, I've got some notes on the 3 games. More so, I kind of like let it go for the first night. More so the second night. The game in Ottawa really pissed me off. But look, just
because the goals went in. That's what could have happened in Montreal. What happened in Ottawa could have happened the night before if Jack Campbell didn't make some big saves. 100%. Slow start, you're down 3-0, and then you fight your way back. This is the Ottawa game. You fight your way back. You get 25 shots in the third period.
Just some notes that I took down during that Montreal game. I thought Cache looked good. Yeah, I think he had 5 shots on net. He was banging around. Like I thought he looked.
He looked great. He looked great.
That third line looks like his go-to line right out of the gates. Like he's starting games with them on the ice. Kampf on the PK was good in that first game. I thought the penalty killing was really good in the first game. Campbell was sharp, like you said. And I thought both goalies were good, actually. But they gave up a lot of tight slot chances, and I did not like that. A lot of tight slot
sloppy
chances.
Sloppy in the slot.
Leafs win it 2-1 anyway. They got to tighten up that slot, and they go to Montreal Thursday night. Anything else you want to add about the home opener?
No, that basically sums it up. It was great to see the building pack. I thought it was kind of a boring game, kind of a shitty game.
Yeah.
Not what I expected, but get the 2 points, move on. We go into Ottawa Thursday night, and Peter Mrazek got his first start. He wasn't his fault.
No, just fluky goals. Like going back to like what you said up the top, slow starts and sloppy seconds. This game fucking summarizes that to a fucking T. Like just ridiculous.
A slow start and a sloppy second. Mrazek was unbelievable in the second period.
Oh, Mrazek, like ridiculous in the second period. Like huge 10 bell saves. The other guy, Forsberg, was making big saves too.
He was unbelievable. In the third period, the Leafs just came on. But at the end of the second period, nothing really happened in the second period. But at the end of the second period,
you're 40 minutes in, and then you're down 3-0. Like, okay, like now let's get her going. That drives me fucking nuts.
I know.
Because how many times have they've done that over the years? It's just like, dude, I'm sick of seeing that shit. Okay, it's great. You think you're so fucking good offensively that you can just not play for fucking 40 minutes and then show up for 20 and win? Well, no, you can't. Sometimes you can, but
O-Dog said it on Overdrive that sometimes high-skilled players have the tendency to not take nights off completely, but be like, we'll get our chances and we'll score in the power play, and we don't really have to work that hard. But like you say, Ottawa was ready to go. Ottawa was out working them to the pucks
because they don't have the superstar talent. They don't have the superstar talent, right? So
Ottawa's penalty kill was so basic, but it worked hard. and it gave Toronto's power play some difficulty. And you just can't go down 3-0 and then expect to come back and win it in the third period.
Dude, they
let 2 points slip away.
A lot they showed up, but like there was a better effort in the third, because I had some points down here where I was getting ready. I know I don't want to jump like all negative, they're 2-1 start. It's early in the season, it's okay here. But I was like, oh man, like if this game is a sign of how this team's going to play, we're in for some serious fucking trouble here. And like, I'm writing notes like, should we get the waffles? Like, where are we at here? But it's only 2 games in. They ended up pushing back in the third. So, and they end up beating the Sens Saturday night. So like
two things about that game. 2 things. At the end of the second period, Peter Mrazek pulled his groin. Now we knew it took the announcers a little while to find out what had happened. I knew the second I saw it, groin injury.
As soon as he went down, groin injury. I'm surprised they just don't call us and ask. You know what really sucks about that is that they played so fucking shitty defensively in the first 2 periods of that Thursday night game against the Sens. Like they let a Sens player get that shot off with like a second left. It was the end of the period. Like, how about you don't let that guy even get that fucking shot attempt off?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Was it the first goal that
because Mrazek
just threw it to the other side without clearing it over the blue line?
Brutal fucking turnover. Here's
he what does that a lot. He's afraid to get hit when he has the puck and he sees someone coming. He had a good night playing hockey with guys like that. They do that.
He had a fairly good night on opening night. Like he scored. Keith was praising him for the most part, except for he took like from his own blue line shot at the empty net to get another goal, and Keith didn't like that. But he gave him a pass.
No, because he gave them a face-off.
I know, brutal. But what a total clusterfuck. What a complete fucking clusterfuck. They are not organized. They're defensive. Like the way they're playing defensively is shit. The forwards aren't bringing anything. I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is this? I know it's early, but I'm like, this is fucking crazy. And going back to the
terrible calls.
Going back to like tight slot. This was very loose. A lot of brutal play in their own end. They were giving up like point blank shots against Mrazek all over the place. Like you said earlier, Mrazek stood on his fucking head in the second period after 3 fluky goals. Really, in the first period, he
could have packed it in and been like, "Fuck this."
Oh, dude, he was making $10 all second period, and then like there you go. I thought he stood on his head. Like I said, the other goalie was good too. Forsberg pulls his groin. 2 fucking games in the season. What didn't Campbell get? Fucking pull his groin in the first game he played last season? I'm pretty sure he did.
He did, yeah.
So like deja fucking.
We talked about if we see Hutch, we're in trouble. That was last season.
Guess who's at practice?
Guess who's going to be on the bench tomorrow night?
Tomorrow morning, pregamer. Hutch is back. They got a back-to-back at the end of the week. Guess who's going to be starting one of those fucking games?
Yeah, we should just stop worrying about it and just predict that Hutch will play in the first month.
Dude, I remember
one of the goalies is going to get hurt.
When we were doing like a couple podcasts ago, I'm like, what's the over under on a Hutch sighting in the first 2 weeks? Probably pretty good. Here we are. Like I'm like, I couldn't believe it. 2 games in. I'm like, I can't believe this. Like, why can't anything go right for these fucking guys? Mrazek I know they were losing the game, but he was looking good.
So let's talk about one other thing in the Ottawa game. And this was throughout the whole game, but I'm going to pinpoint one play in particular with a minute and change left. Leafs have the empty net. They give up the puck at the blue line. John Tavares skates back, lifts Connor Brown's stick. What I thought was just a stick lift. He gets called for the hook. Just one of many terrible calls that night. Like, you couldn't find any hockey analyst that called that a hook. No, everybody, even when you watch TSN Sportsnet, all the replays after on the sports news, they're like, that was a bad call. Keefe did not like that call.
Well, here's the thing. Leading up to that call,
the whole game had been terrible.
An almost identical call was made on Engvall like 4 or 5 minutes earlier. And Keefe was like, that's a phantom call. And then they called basically the same thing on Tavares with like a minute left. Whatever. Like, I mean, the calls were bullshit. Keefe was losing his shit. I don't blame
They shouldn't
him.
have been down 3-2 anyway, but that was a bullshit call.
Yeah,
That was the end of the game right there.
Yeah, 100%. And Tavares said that after the game too. He's like, look, we shouldn't be in that situation to begin with, but the calls were brutal. Like, let's just call that what it is. Like, I think Keefe had a valid point on that. I would have been losing it too if I didn't see the calls there. I just didn't see it. I think the officiating has been shit. But regardless of that, they came on a bit in the third of that Ottawa game. But like, really, just
where were you the first 40 minutes?
Outworked, outplayed, sloppy, not a lot of intensity, not a lot of like all the talking of like, oh, we're gonna do things different, we're gonna be different. I fucking haven't seen it. So shut the fuck up.
So we go into Saturday night. They start on time.
So what did they end up losing? 3-2, right?
They lost 3-2. They just couldn't. Once the penalty was called, it was back to 5-on-5 with an empty net.
Before we move on to Saturday's game against Ottawa, Nylander scored again in the Ottawa game. He scored one of the goals. Richie looked like garbage. Spezza got one of the other goal. Morgan Rielly had a point blank chance with like 2 or 3 seconds left. And he fucking misses the net, rips it over the fucking net. Do you remember that? Right at the end of that Ottawa game.
Yeah, the Ottawa guy slid. He went over the guy.
He just doesn't even hit the fucking net. Like, he probably wouldn't have scored anyway, but hit the fucking net, dude. Anyway, hard to win a game when you're sleeping for the first 2 fucking periods. So yeah, not a good fucking, did not like that game. Hey everyone, Dale here. Thank you very much for watching the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Also, check out some of our other videos. If you want to listen to the audio version of our podcast, we are available on all podcast platforms. Check in the description below for links to our website and all our social media, the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast.